Chapter 40 PANCHATHATHWA Adi Shakti Janani Mata Panchakshari Abhayankari Panchabhutamayi Panchapranamayi Panchavastha Swarupini Panchapretasaneshwari Panchatattva Maheshwari. We have to ponder over the basic truths that are the basis or foundations of the universe. They are the basic splendors from which the universe has sprouted. This is not an ordinary topic of discussion. The gurus or great masters who have transcended the Panchabhutas or the five elements or basis from which we are made alone have the authority to talk about this subject of learning for which there may not be any book available. Nowadays, the whole world is measured in terms of money. Even when it comes to knowledge, people are so impoverished that they measure it also with money. It is really unfortunate. I will tell you a story to expound this fact. A gentleman went on a pilgrimage to all the places associated with Jesus Christ. This man, though an ardent Catholic Christian, was a miser. With minimum amount of money, he wanted to visit all the places associated with Jesus Christ. While on this tour, he came to a river called Galilee, over which Jesus Christ had walked. He saw a boatman sitting on the banks of the river, and he asked the boatman about the importance of the river. The boatman said, "This is the most important river associated with Jesus Christ. This is the place where he walked over. If you cross this river, you are credited with the merit earned by Jesus." This man was very happy. He also wanted to cross the river. He eagerly asked the boatman, "I want to cross the river. Will you kindly help me in crossing this river? Is the service given free?" The boatman replied, "No, the service is only for money. You have to pay only 5 pounds. This gentleman exclaimed, "£5? How is it that to cross this small river I have to pay 5 pounds? In my place, a bigger river can be crossed for only 2 pounds. "You are a miser," the boatman said. "This costs only 5 pounds. Then the Scot retorted, "Now I understand why Jesus walked on this river." This being the case of the modern world, we have to strive hard to understand some basic things like Panchatattwas. You should not confuse Panchatattva with the great sentence Tattvamasi, that is, that you are. There is a beautiful definition by Adi Shankara, the great Acharya of Advaita, that Panchatattva or the 5 principles is related to the Panchavastha or the 5 states. Panchatattva can also be related to Panchabhuta and Panchaprana. Everyone knows that the Panchabhutas are the basis of creation. A story of creation states that in the beginning the Lord was sleeping, and when Adi Shakti disturbed him, he woke up. Then from him the Panchabhutas or the 5 elements, namely Akasha or the sky, wind, water, Agni or fire, and Prakriti or earth emerged. In each species he planted these 5 elements. Man was adorned as the crown of creation. If I am living and seen by you, it is because of Panchabhutas. My body is made of earth. Water flows in my body as blood. Agni or fire burns the food I eat and converts it into energy. It is also seen as the temperature of my body. I breathe air without which I cannot live. Akasha or sky is the base from which I function as Vishwanath. Beyond all these is Brahman or the Creator. That is why it is said that God lives in the Chidakasha or the mental Akasha or Hridayakasha or the heart Akasha. If you transcend Akasha, you can become Brahman. So do not think that God is beyond you. Realization of the self became the primary purpose of man in the beginning. There was no transaction and there was no question of earning for living, as nature used to give him everything and his needs were minimum. Slowly, he started killing animals when he was hungry. Then, there was a small rupture and he wanted to have a small place of his own, and he got a small house for his family. This is how privacy started. Little by little, it increased to the present madness for land, property, etc. The entire nature's plenty was thus divided by man's mind. Now, let us take a look at the Panchapranas. Prana, Udana, Apana, Samana, and Vyana are the 5 pranas. These 5 work in each one's body and outside as well. Above this, we have Brahman or self. If I am living and talking, it is because of Panchapranas. Technically, there are Panchakoshas or 5 cocoons. In us, they are Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. In Upanishads, there is a story of the famous rishi Bhrigu who asked his son to go to the forest and find out who he was. The son went to the forest, did penance, and came back and said, "I am the body." Then the father said, "No, go back to the forest. Ponder again." The boy went back to the forest. He pondered. He thought that he is breathing. Because of breath, he lives. So he came back and said that he is prana. But Bhrigu disagreed and asked his son to go to the forest again to ponder deeply to find the answer. The son went back and started analyzing. He analyzed that we all function because of manas or the mind. So he concluded that I must be mind. So he came back and told that he is the mind. The father again sent his son back to the forest to analyze further. He again went back. He found himself deeply analyzing everything intellectually. He felt that I is intellect. He came back to his father and said that he is jnana or intellect. But again he had to go back to the forest to analyze further. He again went back to the forest and started meditating deeply. Some see only darkness when they meditate deeply, so they think that it is shunya or nothing. This is where many are caught. If one is imaginative, he feels bliss. This is also a kosha or covering. However, the son did not understand it. He had a lot of bliss. So he came back to his father and said, "I am bliss or Ananda." Then father asked the son, "Who feels the bliss?" Immediately the son realized the mute awareness and started singing. What are the 5 truths of life? Birth or Janma, infancy or Kaumaram, youth or Yauvanam, old age or Jara, and death or Marana. These cannot be negated. These are given to every one of us, including avatars. These are panchavastas, or 5 stages. However, they can be related to the 5 stages we undergo every day, and all can transcend these. You can go beyond panchavastas, or the 5 stages of awareness. Every day we are awake. Even sadhana, or the effort to get liberated, is done only in Jagriti, or the awakened state. The other states are Swapna, or dream, sleep, or Nidra, Sushupti, and Turiya, that which starts at the end of the previous 3 states. And lastly, transcended state, or Turiyatitha. When I said Rajarajeshwari Panchapranamayi in the verse in the beginning of this talk, I also said Panchavasta Swarupini. She, as creator, supreme goddess, is all these. The transcended state is not connected with the other 4 states. It is the base for them. Many people mistake samadhi for realization. It is actually deep sleep. If one is aware even in sleep, then only he has transcended all the 4 avasthas and is in Athita stage. The samadhi can be compared to sleep and coma only because you are forgetting body and mind. Many are in this state. Turiyatitha stage is transcended stage and pulsates with all other stages. Many people come with problems to me. One person came to me and told his problems. His father, mother, and 4 brothers always fought in the house. Due to this, he did not have peace of mind. Suppose I go to the house, am I affected? No. Immediately the problem gets solved. So I told him to be like me, an outsider in his own house. I advised him to remain as an outsider instead of involving in homely problems. Similarly, Turiyatitha stage, that is, beyond stage, is one in which you are not affected by anything. So, for any action, get attached and after doing the action, disconnect immediately. All the while you are disconnected only. Just assume you do something but get disconnected later. Then you are called Atman. Ati iti Atmaha. Ati iti Atmaha. That which eats is called as Atma. Time goes on eating all your activities. It is Kalatma or time scale. Sky also is called Brahman or Akashate Brahman. Thus, you are eaten by time, Kalatma, and sky, space or Akasha. A child acts as a father in a drama, but it is not the father. It remains a child only. Similarly, who is acting in the world? Who is sleeping? Who is dreaming? Something basic in you is doing all these. Similarly, birth, childhood, youth, old age, and death are also connected to their base. Atman, the self. To their base, Atman, the self. Never think that it is different from you. Let us identify the Purnata or the fullness very near to us. Slowly capture it through our own strength. When mind is used as an instrument to elucidate, we have Papa or Punya, etc. We are all children of immortality or Amritasya Putraha. Then, why analyze whether we are children of immortality or not? we can become children of immortality by unlearning whatever we have learnt. For this, we should do Sat Sevana, Sat Bhavana, and Sat Darshana. We interact with all the 5 elements every day, but we compartmentalize everything like this. I did this, I did right, I did wrong. Even prayers have become so mechanical and part-time that we do not understand the spiritual significance and do not know how we are going to benefit from all these. Find the meaning for every thought and action of yours. This is Sat Sevana. There is a saying by Kabir, Nakal kare to asal hoega. That means even if you imitate your master or God, you become that. So try to imitate by bhavana the mind of the master. By this you get the qualities of the master. This is Sat Bhavana. Having contemplated on all these truths, Satya Darshana becomes very easy. What is truth? Present alone is. By the time I utter my thoughts, it is already in the past. So, let us be silent. You follow the word silence. This is the truth or tattva. To explain this silence, I have to use words. Being in present, you get Sat Darshana and know the tattva of Bhagwan or God. What are his qualities? Wisdom, Aishwarya or prosperity, Shakti, etc. Another meaning of Bhagwan is Bhaga or connection, Va, removed. So, Bhagwan means remover of attachment. To know Bhagwan, you need not change your daily activities. Just perceive something base in you. This is wisdom, different from knowledge. When knowledge is applied, it becomes wisdom. Aishwarya means property, Aishwarya means prosperity and creative quality. If you are confused with your work or problems, you cannot sit here now in satsang. If I put an outsider's robe, the problem is not there. This is Aishwarya quality. What you have is just dynamism. Having born, all of us are going to die. Because of Shakti, I get Bhujabala or power of hands, Dhanabala or money power. I am not poor. I have all the qualities of Bhagavan. He is expressing through us. He is the base in us. To know the Panchatattvas, you have to go beyond the Panchatattvas. You have to become Ishwari and you have to become Adi Shakti. If you carefully study the words at the beginning of this talk, you will understand Panchatattvas. You become Ishwari or goddess of Panchapretasana, and all the gods Shiva, Rudra, Sadashiva, Brahma and Vishnu are pretas on which you, the self, or Lalita or Raja Rajeshwari sits. Adi Shakti is the Panchapretasaneshwari. She expresses herself as ant, mountain, in diversified ways. She sits on the seat having 4 pillars of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara and Rudra. Finally, she sits on Sadashiva. She, being the goddess of the universe, sits on all the 5 gods. By contemplating the meaning of the verse I composed at the beginning of the talk, you can go beyond Panchabhutas, Panchatattvas and Panchavastas. You can become Raja Rajeshwari and sit on 5 gods like her. Everyone is given this. So try to rise to this exalted position by transcending them.